Hello, welcome to this video. I'm going to show you how to do a lamp glue up. I have got some supplies all ready to go, as you can see here. Woo. You want to make sure you have a glue bottle that is unclogged and ready to go, a couple of extra rubber bands in case you have some that break along the way, and a wet paper towel. And then the most important thing that you're going to need is time. So you want to start this at the beginning of class, not in the middle, not at the end of class, because you want to have time to troubleshoot this. Because if it's not going right, you don't really have time to fix it if you start too late. So I have my lamp all dry fit. I have a rubber band around each top and the bottom, and I have one around the middle. And the reason I put one around the middle is if there are some gaps in your joinery. For example, right here, you can see there's a gap over here. What the rubber band in the middle does is it squeezes these so that that gap closes, and then it actually ends up being on the inside where you don't see it. And if it's tight enough, you get the illusion that the square dowel is actually continuous throughout this area here in the frame. Alright, so everything's tight together. This example here, I have a plywood cutout that was laser cut. That, of course, is optional, but I wanted to do that as part of this glue up. Alright, everything's ready. Got all of my stuff. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to carefully take the rubber bands off, just off of one of the square dowels. And that's going to let me carefully take one piece out at a time. And that is important because I can add glue and I can make sure that piece gets back in the exact same spot. So when I'm putting glue along the miter, I'm putting it here along the rabbet. If you have a top, you can put a little bit of glue in there. Then I do the other side along the shoulder, along there. If I really want to make sure it's spread around, I can spread it around my finger like this, and I can just scrape it off, or I could use the wet paper towel that I have. Alright, so that should be enough glue, and then I'm going to carefully put this piece back in, making sure my lamp doesn't fall apart. Now this is where you want to make sure you don't have any major distractions around you as you do this, because you want to keep track which ones you glued and which ones you haven't glued. So I glued that one. I'm going to continue around here, get to the next one. Notice that when I put that together, there's glue already on this joint. I don't need to add more to that side. That's enough glue there for that side, but I do need to add it to the other side. So I'm going to add the glue to the miter, to the rabbet, to the dado, and then that's going to go to this dry side here. Carefully put this back together. Sometimes it helps to have a friend help hold this together so it doesn't come apart on you like mine wants to right now. It helps to work slowly so that you're not rushing things. Alright, so that one's done, that one's done. Now I'm onto this one. So I'm going to lift off this part here so we can get a little bit better view here of what's going on. There we go. Now that one needs glue here. And the dado. And if you look, this one already has glue on it, so I don't need to add glue because there is glue already on this side. Carefully put this back together. my rubber band stuck here. Come on, rubber band. Come on out. There we go. Alright. I think I have one more. I think it is this one. So I put those around there. That has glue. That one's done. Yep. That one's done. Yep. This is the last one, and because I put glue on the other pieces, it has glue on the miters, but just to make sure everything's nice and tight, I'm going to put it down that groove, that dado groove there, to help hold that centerpiece in place. Alright, now that it's all glued up in all four corners, I check them all. I'm going to squeeze that together. I can even push it against the table like that, checking each one of these miters to make sure that they're all closed up. If there's a gap like on this one right there, I can squeeze the square dowels together. I could add another rubber band, give it a little stretch first so it's a little more elastic. That'll help there. I can move that one down. And then that top part, that's glued up. I want to make sure that it's moved too much. Then I'd flip it over and I'd do the same thing on the bottom. I'm not going to go through it all right now, but you'd take each one of those out, add the glue to each one of those, put the rubber band back on. If it looks like the rubber band's old or might break because you're going to leave this overnight with the rubber bands on, you might just add a second rubber band once you have it glued up. And then the last thing you want to do is look around closely to see, are there gaps? Is there glue leaking out? So here I'm going to look at the bottom. You can see right there I got some glue leaking out. The easiest time to get rid of that glue is right now. Wet paper towel, wipe it off. Look closely around the whole thing because these small corners, they're really difficult to get cleaned up. So when everything looks like it's good and cleaned up, then I'm going to take and set my lamp in a safe place until the next day, and then I can take the rubber bands off and it should be all glued together.